Hello, it's day 19. So, wow, it's getting close to the end. Well, still 9 days to go.
Close
But
to the end, we're 2/3 of the way through.
okay, fair enough. So we're in Las Vegas at the moment. The plan for today is, well, I've written in the itinerary: see buildings by day, see the Hoover Dam, see buildings by night, and then maybe go to a show. Mark, you've booked the Battlepots thing now, haven't you?
I have. It is literally right across the road from our hotel. So that's going to be at about 6:30. Cannot wait. I saw it and I was like, oh my god, it's here.
I have to. The plan, I think, for now is we're going to head towards the strip and look at all the buildings, maybe grab some breakfast around there. Once we've done that for a bit and sort of a bit bored of that, and obviously we'll show you most of that footage, we'll head to Hoover Dam, and then we'll come back to see the strip at night. So all the buildings lit up. We saw a bit of that yesterday, and it was pretty impressive, to be honest. We were just too tired to fully take everything in, but yeah, we'll show you more of it tonight.
Yeah, well, I was looking at the map today. I was just telling Jacob, we were just overwhelmed by all the buildings. So it's where is the main strip?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when we looked at the map, we're like, oh, okay, there's a vertical line that shows you where the strip is, and you can start from the one end and go towards the other end. So yeah, we'll basically be, what is it, hotel hopping? What do you call it?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we're going to visit Caesar's Palace and Egypt in the Luxor, hopefully. And
the Eiffel Tower as well.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower. There's Paris.
We have to look at that eyeball as well.
We'll show you. Well, yeah, I mean that's just actually right next to us.
Okay.
So we'll show you the eyeball, and there's a Formula One track I want to show you too. But anyway, so lots to see, and hopefully you'll see that soon. Bye. First thing to show, this is the Formula One paddock. I'll try and get a better view from the other side when we're walking around. But basically, Formula One races here once every year, starting from last year. And the race is actually a street circuit, which means this road that we're next to is actually the main part of the track that the drivers race around. This building over here just contains grandstands and team pit areas, so where the teams will set up and have hospitality and all that kind of thing. So obviously that building kind of has to be permanent and is in this sort of car parking lot, whereas the actual track that they race on actually is just temporary, and it's a lot of the roads that are around. So we'll try and get you a better view of it shortly, but that's what's really literally next door to our hotel, which is cool. Alright, so we're on the other side now of the track, and this little bit is what is called pit lane, as well as the starting grid. So you might be able to see sort of white boxes and stuff that are on the ground. That is where the cars have to start when they're starting the race. And also next to it, where the building is and where that sort of little road strip is, if you can sort of see that, that is pit lane. So when the drivers need to stop and they need to change tires, or they need to fix something that's on their car, that is where they will stop, and then they'll come out. And above that with the building, all of the teams have VIPs and guests in there. Underneath they have the garages where the mechanics are. So it's all a really cool setup, and it's here in Vegas. So that's probably it for the Formula One paddock. Most of it is the street circuit anyway. And now we're heading up to the strip and we'll show you some of those buildings. We've been walking around looking for breakfast, and it took us a while to decide on one, so long that they're no longer serving breakfast. But we decided to end up at the Earl of Sandwich shop. So if you don't know, apparently the sandwich was invented by a dude named the Earl of Sandwich, where he put some pieces of bread on some meat, and they named it after him. So it's meant to be the best sandwiches in the world or whatever. It seems more British than American. I got an Italian, which is basically like salamis and stuff. Mark got
chicken, bacon, avocado.
So I guess we'll taste them and let you know how they are in the future. So, bye. So I heard weddings were easy to get in Vegas, but I didn't realize they would have a wedding chapel inside of a casino, and they have a little sign that's basically just saying, hey, sorry, we're not allowed to marry you at the moment. Our people who are running this place are either running a wedding or giving a tour. So it turns out it really is very easy to get a wedding in Vegas. Flamingo and Miami Beach. Alright, so we've seen a lot of the strip this morning. We've seen a couple of big buildings. Caesar's Palace, I think, as you've probably seen. It's probably one of my favourites. I'm sure Mark is one of his favourites as well.
100%.
Yeah, we all know he's really a Roman emperor at heart. But we decided that it was quite hot. We've done about 7 k's of walking around the strip and we want a bit of a break. So we thought we would drive to Hoover Dam, and that's where we are. We're on our way at the moment. About 35 minutes left. We know we can do a guided tour at Hoover Dam of both the dam section and like the electrical power section. So that's the plan, is to see about that. Hopefully we'll show you some of it. Might not be allowed to record some things, we'll find out. But we'll let you know how that goes afterwards. And then we'll be heading back to the strip again later. Mark's got his BattleBots show at 6:30. We definitely want to see a lot of the buildings at night, and yeah, a couple other things to do there. So yeah, lots to do today, and hopefully we'll show you most of it. So yeah, we made it to Hoover Dam, and we're actually on a tour at the moment. We're doing the power plant tour. So I probably won't be speaking much for this, because I don't want to disturb everybody else. But we're actually underground at the moment. We're all the way at the base in the tunnel that they used. We're going to be learning about the tunnels that they used to divert the dam. So I'll show you clips of things that we find interesting, and then you'll probably hear from us again once we're all finished.
So once this site was fully determined that this is where they're actually going to build the dam, they realized another problem. And that problem was what to do with the Colorado River. It flows right through Black Canyon. It's going to get in the way, right? So from the film you just saw, they decided to get that river out of the way by diverting it. And they did that through 4 diversion tunnels, and the canyon walls, of course, were right in the middle of one of those. So these 4 tunnels actually took 40% of the construction time. 2 years of the final 5 years of building here.
Alright, so we've concluded our tour of the Hoover Dam, and what better place to do a wrap-up than right here, right next to the dam itself. Now, don't look down, it's quite deep. but yeah, they showed us quite an interesting video about the dam, about its construction. There were like 3,500 people working here. They said there were 16 tons of concrete being delivered every 75 seconds. Lots of really interesting facts about the creation of this thing. It was actually built 2 years ahead of schedule. You never see that in an Australian engineering project. But it's honestly like quite an impressive site. Very different to the Grand Canyon, I think what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That's just humongous by comparison, and there's nothing like it. But the amount of effort that they had to put in to build something like this.
Yeah.
And they said that every state of the 48 states that existed at the time, there was 2 that hadn't existed yet, actually contributed something to the dam. They had these giant 300-ton cranes, which is crazy. They came from, did you say Michigan?
I think so.
But like another state very far away from here, but they still contributed to the dam. So I think it's a really cool nation-building project. It happened during the Great Depression, so you know it was employment and work for lots of people. So it's definitely iconic as a landmark in and of itself, and it's something to visit, I think, when you're here.
We were talking on the way here about like this time in human history, like not just in America but in Australia as well, like in the 1930s, especially when the world was going through such turmoil after the wars and the Great Depression and so on. And it really is another testament to the fact that these people who built these things were very much visionaries. They saw the need for something like this, And perhaps if they didn't have this, who knows where they would be now.
So, cool thing. Definitely come and visit if you're in either Arizona or Nevada, because actually there's one more thing about the dam. There's an Arizona side and there's a Nevada side, so it's really straddling the border between those two. So we'll head off before we get burnt, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Alright, so we're back at Vegas and it's nighttime. Some time has passed since the time we arrived here. Mark has gone and seen the BattleBots show, and we'll sort of interview him about that in the final video today. I was doing a bit of video editing and a couple of other things, and then we're going to meet up shortly at the Lutzel and some of the related hotels. But I'm out here on my own at the moment because I wanted to record a shot of something called the Las Vegas Sphere. So if you look over here, you should see that sort of giant ball of light. And when you saw it, it was sort of bright blue, bright white. I'm sort of watching it at the moment. It transitions, it changes. It's basically a giant sphere covered in LED screens. So similar to what Times Square is with all of the billboards, this sphere does a similar thing. So you can see it's gone purple now, changed to a different color. Occasionally it spins and it pretends to be a soccer ball, so it'll colour in with black patches and white patches and stuff like that. I saw a little video of either the Earth or the Moon recently, but it's just this really cool object in Vegas. And I started this vlog today with Formula One facts, so I want to end it with Formula One facts. When Formula One is racing here, they have complete control over that sphere. So change colour again. And they use that sphere to show race highlights. They use it to put drivers' faces when they win, to do checkered flag, to do information, and they can control it throughout the entire race, which is pretty cool. And it's cool that they get that sort of practical use of something like that. Alright, so that's all from me. You'll see a lot of clips of some of the casinos at nighttime. I think particularly Excalibur, New York, MGM Grand and Luxor and all that. They're the ones we're probably going to be visiting at night, so I'll show you them now. And then we'll do a wrap-up video at the end of the day, as per usual. So, see you then. Alright, we're back in our rooms and back together. So, Mark, since we haven't talked about this, how was BattleBots?
BattleBots was really, really cool. They did 5 fights in total. One of them was kind of like a mock fight. They basically put a slot machine on wheels and then smashed the thing to death with another professional bot. They did have a main event, which was really interesting for any BattleBots fans. It was Hypershock versus Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor is one of the more renowned, known names that dominates the field usually. But it was really, really cool to see the dome, to see the audience. I don't think it was like the BattleBots competition that you see on TV. I think it was more of a friendly. Case in point, for anyone that doesn't know, they usually have a weight limit on bots, and the weight limit is usually 250 pounds. But because this was like a friendly, like no-name match, they had no weight limits, which means that they could use as much weight as they wanted to, which kind of made it a bit more explosive and a bit more interesting, which was really, really cool. So yeah, that was my impression of BattleBots.
Sounds good. And the other question is, what are your feelings on Vegas in general?
Vegas in general. Well, look, we have only had one full day here, to be fair. However, in saying that, during the day, it's not, I guess, what you expect from like TVs and movies and things like that. It does really come alive more so at night, and it more looks like Times Square in New York City, which was really, really cool. I think it is somewhere that you do have to visit to say that you've been here, but I wouldn't come back a second time.
Yeah, my feeling is more days in Vegas would not have done Vegas any favors.
No.
The buildings all looked really cool from the outside, well,
Yeah.
at least all the themed ones. And some of them have some interesting things on the inside. You know, Caesar's Palace and Luxor had some cool stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
But I just find in general, like the layout, the abundance of obviously all the gambling and stuff, and the layout of the casinos was, I'd heard they were intentionally confusing, but what I didn't realize was that the signage was intentionally confusing as well. There were no signs in pretty much any casino that told you how to get back to the main road. They would all point you to different parts of the casino, different parts of the restaurants, whatever. And I found that really frustrating. It was like the opposite of New York. And I think that's generally true for the city as well. Like, it was less walkable than I expected. I was expecting a bit more like Surfers Paradise, Scaffold Avenue, where you could walk down and just like enjoy stuff. But there were cars in the middle, and there was lots of bridges you were forced to go up and whatever. And it was actually kind of hard to navigate on foot.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean by walkable. I think I was just looking at my watch because I was just looking at how many steps I've done. 31,000 steps today, which is stupid. I think I did less at Disney, and Disney itself was quite massive. So my feet are absolutely wrecked, which is why I'm sitting down, because my feet have become incapacitated.
Yeah. So Vegas, interesting to see from the outside. Probably only needs a passing visit, which is, I guess, what we're doing. Anyway, so that's all from us. So tomorrow's plan is to drive to San Francisco, which is quite a drive. It's 8 hours. But, you know, we've done similar drives before, so we think it's possible. Spend a couple of days there and then head towards Portland, Oregon. And we'll be nearly done with our road trip.
We'll be heading, I think one of the things I want to take a photo of will be the Golden Gate Bridge, because we took a photo of the strip today because I have a Lego set based on Las Vegas. I also have another set based on the skyline of San Fran. I'm guessing mostly it will be the Golden Gate Bridge, but perhaps we'll see what else San Fran has to offer as well.
All right, so see you tomorrow. Bye.
See ya.